I'm joined now by Brandon Lau. And Brandon, it is spring training time. When we look at last season for you, we look at a lot of highs for you. You were an all-star, but a couple injuries, a little frustrating, but you are fully healthy now. You are ready to go. You're 100%. How exciting is it knowing that you are fully healthy and you're ready for this season?
It's extremely exciting, really, to get down here and, get around the guys and start playing again. It was starting to get a little bit, you're longing for baseball for a little while. So I'm happy to be back and, even happier to be healthy.
Yeah, you were able to come back at the end of last season. How are you feeling right now after a couple weeks of spring training?
I feel great. I was doing a lot of work, keeping it strong, keeping the quad healthy, doing everything that I need to do to make sure that, what happened last year won't happen again this year, and, hopefully be there for all 162.
What do you think the potential is for you should you be there for all 162? Because at the beginning of the season, we saw you were on a tear, you became an all-star, but what is the potential should you be healthy for the entire year?
Hopefully more of what happened in the first half, hopefully that just, drags for the whole season. I really believe that I can go out there and, do what I did for the first half, the whole year, and, I'm excited to go out there and show it.
I promised you I'd bring this up. Your wife hit 4 home runs in the Rays Wives softball game. How impressive was that? Is there a little competition now between you two?
I feel like there's always competition in our marriage, and whether it's playing Scrabble or her going out and putting on that kind of performance. But, it was just amazing to go out there and be able to be on the other side and watch her, go out there and play, and, just having a blast out there watching her, dominate pretty much is a good word to say, but, it's, they did it for a great cause, and, with her hitting 4 home runs, it's great, but, I catch a lot of crap around the clubhouse for it.
2 phenomenal athletes in the Lau family. Thanks so much, Brandon. Dwayne and Doug, let's send it back to you.
All right, a pitch into the game. Hanser Alberto has taken the first one for a ball. And this one is chopped foul down the third base side. 1-1. Rays have Sean Gilmartin on the hill this afternoon, facing Alberto to get things underway. Here's a look at the 29-year-old left-hander.
Yeah, 29-year-old left-hander, mixes pitches well. 4-pitch pitcher, changeup, slider, fastball, curveball. Sits on that changeup pretty heavy. You saw it right there, just 3 pitches in.
Now, Gilmartin's an interesting left-hander in camp. He was originally drafted a high pick by the Atlanta Braves out of Florida State. Last year in the Baltimore system at AAA at Norfolk. Had a brief appearance in the big leagues with the Orioles. And he's 2-2 here with Alberto. And a long one down the left field side. If that's fair, that's trouble, but it's going to be foul. Long distance on that one, but a foul ball.
Well, this has got to be. Well, he thought it was gone.
Yeah, Alberto went into his trot.
That was a good try.
And
you know what?
was around second. Hey, you got to sell it. Got to sell it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to trot the bases. I don't care what you call it. I hit that ball really well. I'm going to go ahead and trot the bases. Look at this. And I'm going to stop watching right about now. Well, this is the first day I think I've ever been in Port Charlotte where the wind has blown in. Usually you see it tailing hard out to left field.
Well, Alberto was looking for his first home run of the spring and was going to try to home run trot his way into that one.
Yeah, he was looking really hard on that one.
And to left, that's going to drop in front of Susugo out there, and a base hit for Alberto. We'll take a look at the remainder of the lineup for Baltimore. Pat Valleca's the number 2 hitter at short. Ryan Montcastle, Rio Ruiz, Dilson Herrera, Chance Sisco, Jose Rondon, Mason Williams, Andrew Velasquez is in center field trying to make this Baltimore team as a utility player. And of course, he came up through the Rays system and saw some time in a Rays uniform. Valleca, after the first pitch, fouls it back for a strike. Valleca's had a good spring. Last year with the Rockies, he was a waiver claim by the Orioles. And is 8 of 21 so far this spring, hitting .381. He's hit 3 home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Rays figured to have at least 3 left-handers get some work today. Ground ball short, and that one gets by Adames. It stayed down as he found himself reaching across his body, and Alberto stops at second with Valaika aboard. That's going to go as a base hit.
Well, going to go as a base hit, but if you talk to Willie Adames, I mean, Adames feels like he should get pretty much every single ball hit to him. You see him go to the backhand right here, scoots right by him, and that's pretty surprising. I mean, if you watched Adames the second half of the season last year, he was one of the best shortstops in the game. And I mean, anything hit to that 6-hole, he was making the play.
Here's Ryan Mountcastle. Pitch is low. Mountcastle is one of the top prospects coming up through the Orioles system at Norfolk. 25 home runs last year and a .312 average, and has power to all fields. Takes a big cut there on a fastball. It's 1-1.
Yeah, he definitely tried to show it right there. You see a fastball to get back into the count for Gil Martin, 1-1. See, after that kind of swing, you got 2 choices: really elevate with another fastball, or you can drop that changeup that we know Gil Martin likes to sit on.
And a big cut. And that can be tantalizing. And now with that, Gil Martin is ahead in the count, 1-2. Baltimore coming in 8-5 on the spring. Chop shortstop. Adames to allow 1. First base 2. 6-4-3 on the double play. Alberto advances to third. He's there with 2 gone.
Well, this is a great job getting the ground ball, first of all, from Gil Martin, but you see Adames going to his backhand, very nicely pausing, doing a strike over to Brandon Lau, and Lau with the quick turn over to first. Great job by the infield.
Now Rio Ruiz. Pops it. It's going to be out of play. Back a third. Ruiz last year had a little difficulty settling in, but had a good second half. Better in the second half than the first half. Wound up hitting a little over .230 with 12 home runs. It's 1-1. One and two. Gil Martin's one of those guys who's been around. He had success at the collegiate level, as we mentioned, a top pick initially out of Florida State by Atlanta, and he's a lefty. And those left-handers who can throw strikes, and he's got that changeup, as you mentioned, Doug, and that has gotten him another look here in the big league camp for the Rays.
Well, definitely being a left-hander is always going to give you an advantage. But, you know, a lot of the times the college guys coming out, especially if you're a high draft pick from college, you have to have a good feel for secondary pitches. You can't just go out there and pump fastballs because, you know, obviously with the aluminum bats in college, you got to learn how to pitch. You got to get guys off balance, and that's what we see from Gil Martin. You know, his secondary pitches are just as good as his primary pitch, the fastball.
Here's Diaz into foul territory. That's not going to be an easy play with his wind, and he makes the catch right by the railing. to retire the side. They leave a man, do not score. We're headed into the bottom stretch.
Hey there, Dwayne. I am joined by Blake Snell. And Blake, yesterday, you threw a bullpen after you got that cortisone shot in your elbow. You said you felt great yesterday, but the question is, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, so I played catch. Felt great today. Wasn't sore at all, so happy with that. Yeah, just looking forward to Monday, seeing how that goes, and then I'll know more after that start if I'm more sore or not, but I should be ready to go, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and as Blake said, the Rays confirmed that he will pitch on Monday in the game. How eager are you to pitch on Monday in the game and see how you feel and just get back into that routine?
Yeah, I just want to feel that feeling again of pitching and being able to be a part of this. So, no, I mean, I'm stoked. I can't wait, and I'm excited to start competing again.
And last season, Blake, a couple frustrating injuries for you, but we've talked a lot about what you can do when you are fully healthy. You know, we watched that when you won that Cy Young Award, what you could do when you were fully healthy. How do you feel you can do this season should you stay healthy?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll be fine. I think I'll be able to hold my own, but I'm excited to grow throughout the season, throughout spring. I feel really confident in where I'm at mentally, physically, so just got to get it going and start to feel the sores and the aches, and once I can do that, I'm excited for what I'll be able to achieve this season.
You mentioned the sores and the aches, but how crucial is it to feel confident mentally, like you mentioned?
I think it's everything, yeah. I think it's really what's going to make a lot of guys with their careers is how they hold themselves in their mind and what they tell themselves. So for where I'm at right now and how I feel and how I'm talking to myself, I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. We're looking forward to Monday. Thanks so much, Blake.
Thanks,
Dwayne and Doug, let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you. Blake Snell, very excited to get back into action on Monday. There's a high popper to the left side off the bat of Meadows. And that's handled for the first out. Ruiz going over there. And the Rays facing Bruce Zimmerman.
And there you see Bruce Zimmerman, 25-year-old left-hander, 29th ranked prospect in the Orioles system. This guy goes pretty much primarily fastball changeup. His fastball come in 90, 92, but he can touch 95 at times, and then drop a changeup that sits around 80, 83.
And a guy who's from Baltimore. He grew up rooting for this team, and for him it's a dream come true. And getting a look here in the big league camp. 1-0 the count to Willie Adames. Adames 267 average this spring with a home run. Foul right back. 1-2. Adames looking forward to pick up where he left off at the end of the season last year. And Doug, you mentioned it briefly. It took him a month, maybe 5-6 weeks, maybe to really get his feet under him last year. But once he did, he was as good as anybody playing the game at shortstop.
You know what? I was talking to Kevin Cash 2 days ago about Adames and about the transformation he had during the season last year. And he attributes it to, well, two things. His mental approach. He basically says that, you know, this kid goes out there and he decides for himself that he's not going to fail. Like, he is going to succeed. And so mentally, he's got what it takes to stick around in the big leagues, but then also his work ethic. He said he's one of the hardest workers on the team. And because of that, you know, he started out the year, obviously, not as good as he finished the year. And we're talking about defense. And, you know, he goes out there, works through everything every single day with Rodney Linares, with Kevin Cash. They hit fungos every day. And you see these guys working this hard with that much talent, they're bound to get better.
2-2 the count to Adames. The count is full. And the other side of that with his bat, I mean, we saw the kind of power out of him. You get that power out of the shortstop spot. That's a significant bat to have playing shortstop. Did 20 home runs last year. Lines it into left. That's going to be in there for a base hit. Mountcastle makes the pick. Big turn at first, and Adames will hang on with a single.
Well, this is a great job by Adames. Talk about his offense and and his approach to the plate. He works the count 3-2 off of Zimmerman. He sees the fastball up. That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball up and in on the hands. He's able to turn on it. And, you know, if you look at his season last year, he actually hit 297 off the fastball alone. So he's the kind of guy who can go out there, and if you throw something hard to him consistently, he'll time it up on you.
You know, with all the infielders in the Rays system, you know, Franco, Brujan, they have a lot of infielders, and you know, you could understand people who might think maybe Adames would have to find another place to play, but I don't think that bothers him at all, because he's grabbed that shortstop spot, and in the foreseeable future, he's the guy there.
Well, I think if you would have said that at the beginning of last year, you would have had a totally different reaction than you do right now. I think at the beginning of last year, people probably were thinking, okay, when Franco gets up here, it's assumed that he's probably going to be able to roll into the shortstop position. Maybe Adames turns into a third baseman, second baseman, or somewhere else on the diamond. But now, I mean, the way he grabbed a hold of that shortstop, like you just said, that shortstop defensive position, and he's really the leader. He has become the leader on the infield now. So you don't want to mess with things that are working well, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Adames.
Throws a little peg over to first. Brandon Lau at the plate, 1-1 the count. Well, it's a great problem to have, though, isn't it, to have a guy like Adames who can play short, and then the young infielders coming up through the system.
Well, you know, this team just continues to have one of the best minor league systems in the league, and it started with Wander Franco. And by the way, the first time I saw Wander Franco up close, I thought he was like a middle linebacker. I mean, this dude is put together.
Yep.
He can hit, he can run, he can throw. There is nothing that he cannot do. So it'll be a lot of fun when he does make it to Tropicana Field.
And back in, a quick little tag by Herrera at first, but Adames got back there. Zimmerman came to Baltimore out of the Atlanta Braves organization. This pitch skips away from Cisco. Adames will turn second after the advance and then put on the brakes. He's in scoring position, moving up on the wild pitch. And there's Zimmerman. Braves originally drafted him in 2017, and he was part of the deal when Kevin Gossman and Darren O'Day went from Baltimore to Atlanta, and Zimmerman part of that deal coming back the other way. Full count. Well, it's been a good start this spring for Brandon Lau. 6 of 13. And he draws the walk. So the Rays with men at first and second, one out here in the first. Yandy Diaz.
Well, Zimmerman just not feeling comfortable on the mound right now, missing up and away with his fastball. It looks like he's just a little antsy. You see that from pitchers at times, especially earlier in spring. The body's just feeling a lot better than the arm and jumping toward home plate, creating elevated pitches, and that's what we're seeing so far from the Orioles.
Well, Diaz coming off a 14 home run season a year ago. First pitch is a strike. Rays hoping to keep Diaz healthy the full season this year. He had 3 separate stints on the injured list last year. So if they could keep that bat available on a day in and day out basis, that's a dangerous bat.
Still trying to figure out how they get a uniform big enough for his biceps.
1-1. The 14 home runs in the regular season, and then the wild card came along. And he added a couple in that matchup against Oakland. It would be interesting to see if he would be healthy all year, what he could do with the bat.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look, he had the most home runs he's ever hit in a season last year at 14. And that's, you know, with around 300 plus at bats. You put a full season together. Now, obviously, he's not going to play every day, but you put more numbers at bats together. I mean, he has a chance to get to 20-25 pretty quick.
Chopped to short. Valleca, Alberto won first base, and the Orioles get the double play. We're headed into the second inning, no score. .com. 2020 Rays baseball presented by Baycare. Sun is out, a cool afternoon, a breeze in the ballpark, sometimes a little more than that. And Dilson Herrera takes the pitch for a strike. Cisco next, and then Rondon, the DH. .02. Thing about Gil Martin, limited major league time, but a lot of experience. And you figure he's a guy who's comfortable out there on the mound.
Well, he's got a great presence about him. Goes out there, very comfortable in any situation. I mean, anytime you've been around the game that long, you're going to be put in situations all throughout your career, whether it's closing, starting, relieving, long relieving. And the ability for him to throw strikes with any pitch will get him out of any situation. So we've got a great mound presence right now, and a lot to like from what we're seeing.
Kyle Snyder looking on with Kevin Cash. And the pitch drops a little low. And boy, the Rays have had such a great knack of bringing pitchers and position players into camp. And maybe they don't start the season with a big club, but boy, a lot of them show up in key roles during the regular season. Little tapper first base side. It's going to roll foul. I mean, they can evaluate areas of a game that a pitcher or player has in which they excel and match up situations to take advantage of that particular ability.
Well, I think the reason why, and this is my own thoughts, but the reason why I think Kevin Cash is one of the best managers in the game, and while Kyle Snyder is one of the best pitching coaches in the game, is because they're geniuses at putting guys in situations where they will excel. And they don't leave them out there when they know they might struggle in certain situations, but you know, they just are able to put guys out to perform to their strengths. And they do a better job than anybody else in the big leagues that I've seen. And I'm not just saying that because we get to cover them, you know, the entire season. You look around the entire league, and these guys, with the way they platoon players and the way they match up and the analytics behind it, they just put everybody in favorable situations. And because of that, you know, look what they did last year.
This one is popped into center field. Lau drifting toward right center. Now coming in from right is Margot to make the catch. The wind had some effect on that one. And the Rays had Kiermaier and Margot coming in from the outfield, and Lau out there. Margot takes care of that. Well, the proof is right there. 90+ win seasons since 2008. The Dodgers with 8. The Rays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox with 7.
Yeah,
that is elite company. That's just a fact.
That's the best. I mean, you can't argue numbers, and those numbers prove that the Rays are in position to win every single year. And I'll tell you what, 3 of those 4 teams this year look like they can go back to 90+ wins again.
That's pretty good work right there, documented by those postseason mementos. One out, bases empty. Cisco takes a strike. Chance Cisco, the catcher. Thing I've noticed about Gil Martin, I love that changeup. He's so comfortable in the delivery on that changeup. Not any different than any other pitch.
Well, the guys who throw the best changeups in the league will throw their that pitch almost as hard, or if not harder, than your fastball. And what I mean by that, it's not the same velocity, it's the same effort. Right? You're not slowing your entire delivery down to try to take speed off the pitch. Instead, you're finishing the pitch out front and allowing your grip to take over. And by doing that, I remember Johan Santana used to have an amazing changeup. He threw that thing, he would grunt when he let go of that pitch, but it'd be slower and it would have more action. And I'm telling you, he could throw that thing right down the middle, let somebody know it's coming, and there is no way he would give up a hit.
Yeah, with a little bit we've seen Gil Martin here, he's been impressive. I mean, you could see him filling a particular role. Now, maybe a little bit more difficult for some lefties because of that three-hitter rule that's going to go in. But you get the idea that Gil Martin might be one of those guys who could face righties and be as effective as he could against lefties.
Well, that's the thing. The changeup neutralizes both right-handers and left-handers. If he only had a fastball slider, then he'd be effective against left-handers, but right-handers would give him fits. But you go out there with what he's got, the fastball changeup combination, and he can go ahead and he can do some damage against both sides of the plate. So because of that, he's going to be more effective, and he's going to be more valuable to this Rays system.
It just seems to me, watching these pitches so far, everything's out of the same slot. And that goes to the point you made, particularly a fastball changeup. Looks the same, doesn't get there, doesn't arrive the same. Oh, nice pitch right there. Strike three call. So 2 up, 2 down here in the second inning.
Well, this is a pitch that we haven't talked about a lot from Gil Martin. That's the curveball. Curveball dropped in there. Obviously, Cisco not looking for it. Nice job painting the outside corner. Zunino catching it, framing it nicely on getting that strike call.
Jose Rondon takes the fastball up and away. Well, you see immediately in Gil Martin, and we didn't see him in college, but in here he is 29. He has a great pitchability. There's a strike, 1-1.
Well, you know, coming out of FSU, they got such a good program over there. They're going to make sure he learns to pitch correctly. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, he was a first rounder coming out of FSU, so you know he featured a lot of good things. And pitchability is something that if you talk to any scout, that's what they like the most about him. He's not going to have overpowering stuff. He'll sit around 90 miles an hour or so. But the feel for pitching, you know, fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, and to be able to throw those pitches in any count. I mean, it's 2-1 right now, and you cannot sit on a fastball here.
And a little popper. Had him out in front, and that's handled by Lau. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. Rays half of the second. Yoshi Tsutsugo is going to lead it off. Jose Martinez next, and then Kevin Kiermaier in this inning. And against left-hander Bruce Zimmerman. So 2 good innings from Gil Martin. And what we've seen so far, Gil Martin and Zimmerman, not all that dissimilar. A couple of left-handers, both wearing the same uniform number. And they'll move the fastball around, utilize off speed and the breaking stuff. And here's Tsutsugo. He's hitting .294 for the spring with a home run. That came early in the spring to left center field. Two balls, no strikes. Ooh, big cut there. Fastball, 2-0, and he was going to take a rip. And that evens the count. Ooh, on the outside corner. Zimmerman, nice job to come back after falling behind.
Well, here you see it. This is slider outside corner. Dot in the corner. Boy, you can't get much better of a pitch than that. Tsutsugo, really not much you can do with that.
And now Jose Martinez, whom we highlighted in the open. And boy, can this guy swing the bat. Takes the ball away. Martinez, 31 years old. Fouls it right at the feet of Cisco, the catcher. We'll take a look at his splits. Last year he had 329 against left-handed pitching, and that's pretty much been the story of his career. Look at that, 331 against lefties, 288 against righties. Nothing wrong with that average against right-handers, but especially lefties, 331.
Well, I mean, you look at his numbers against righties. If you look at those first, you'd think, oh, wow, this guy's got some offense. He really brings the stick. And then you look against lefties. I mean, that's a dominant performance. And that's just not 1 year, right? That's a career average. Anytime you're hitting over 330 against left-handers, you know he's going to come in. He's going to be able to do some damage.
There are 4 seasons, and that career average for him is 298 over 4 seasons. So the Rays look to have him somewhere in that lineup frequently.
Boy, I saw him for the first time, first couple days of spring training, and I don't think he's 6'6". This dude looks 7 foot. I mean, he is enormous.
Ruiz at third handles that chopper. 2 gone.
With that big frame, it reminds me of a guy, not the same type of power hitter, but Richie Sexton. And he's a guy who used to hit a lot of home runs, but just when you pitch against a guy with a frame like that, you feel like they can cover an entire plate. I mean, the outside corner, inside corner, you've really got to set them up correctly, because if you don't, you feel like if you miss at all, Martinez is the guy who can really make you pay.
Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Pitch inside. Well, he's another guy. He's like Randy Arozarena, who also came over in that deal. Both those guys hit the ball hard. Exit velocity is impressive off both their bats. 1-1 the count on Kevin Kiermaier. A ball, 2 strikes. Chaz Rowe up in the bullpen. And a strike called on that inside part of the plate. Rays are 3 up, 3 down, and we go to the third. Score. So don't miss a chance to support the Rays for an exciting evening matchup against the Red Sox. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com/spring. Rays come in 8-5-2 in the spring. And we're looking at Chaz Rowe. So he'll take over after Gil Martin's 2 innings. Busy out of that bullpen, matching up last year. 71 appearances.
Yeah, how about that? Full workload last year, 71 appearances. Obviously, the slider is what he features. Throws that 64% of the time. And how about this, Dwayne? 52 of his 65 strikeouts last year came on that pitch alone.
He faces Mason Williams. Pitch is upstairs. Rowe, 33 years old. And 25 holds for the Rays last year. Two balls, no strikes. Must have been an interesting run for Rowe. As we mentioned, turned 33 last October. He originally was a first-round pick by the Colorado Rockies. That was in 2005. And at one point found himself playing in independent baseball for the Laredo Lemurs. And now back a very substantial part of this Rays bullpen. Gives up a 4-pitch walk here to Williams.
Well, he's definitely had a long road to get here, but he has put together some really impressive years for the Rays over the last 2. I mean, this is one of Kevin Cash's go-to guys. Struggled a little bit earlier in the season last year, but really got locked in mid to late season and helped the Rays make that playoff push. But definitely has a lot of trust from his manager.
Andrew Velasquez. He did go after that one down and in. Well, Velasquez, a switch hitter, can play the infield and the outfield. The Orioles like all of that. Keeping an eye on Williams. Mulligan 2. Ricochet off the facing of the roofing here, and that ball wound up in the second or third row right behind home plate.
Yeah, that ball was coming in hot. The guy with the Hawaiian shirt right there, he's going to have to ice that left hand. He palm balled that one. Didn't come up with the catch, yeah, but he saved his drink, so.
Well, priorities.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to agree with him.
It stayed wide right there. 1-2. Boy, the bullpen, you mentioned it, how important that is to the Rays. They had the best bullpen earned run average in the major leagues last year. And they spread that among 30 pitchers out of the bullpen. There is strike 3 call. Out number 1. I mean, that's working a lot of arms out of that bullpen.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, you're talking about, obviously they've had bullpen days. You start the season last year with 3 starters, and you're going to have a lot of innings eaten up by that bullpen, whether it's utilizing an opener or if you're going out there and having a straight bullpen day. But look, Kevin Cash and Kyle Snyder have a lot of confidence in this bullpen for good reason. And they just don't give up a lot of runs. They go out there every single night, get the job done, and it's really, these guys, they're able to shuffle around into different spots in that bullpen too. You know, traditionally you have bullpen guys who only pitch in the 7th inning. You only pitch in the 8th inning, and then you got your closer, and everybody else kind of pieces it together. But with the Rays, I mean, they'll shuffle people around every single inning, and wherever they need an out, whoever's up that night, they're going to go out and get it.
Runner takes off, a good break, and that pitch up and in and clips Alberto. Got him around the hand. And that moves Williams up to second. Alberto shakes it off and heads to first.
You see Alberto right here, fastball up and in, right off the left hand. Not a lot of padding right there. That one stings. So far today, we haven't seen Rowe very comfortable with that fastball command yet. He's had a good spring. He's been locked in pretty much every time he's gone out, and that's something he usually has, is fastball command with that big slider behind it.
Here's Pat Valleca. Got a base hit his first time up. There's a strike. Impressing the Orioles this spring. He's now 9 of 22 for the spring with a double and 3 home runs. strike. 0-2. 2 men on with 1 out. Mountcastle is on deck. That one a little bit high. He did get some late break on it. There's strike 3 call. So Valaika caught looking. So 2 call third strikes after the walk and a hit batter.
Well, that's a backup slider right there. It actually ended up on the inside corner, but just the rotation on it's so hard to pick up. And Valaika had just never seen that slider before. Almost had no chance.
And I'll tell you, a nice job by Zunino with the presentation behind the plate. There's Mountcastle. Mountcastle, one of the top hitting prospects for the Orioles. He's in left field today. He spent time at first base, left field, DHing. A nice pitch right there. It's 1-1. A ball, 2 strikes. Big cut. You can see Mountcastle with a slight uppercut there. And the Orioles like his power potential.
Yeah, this is a guy who can definitely launch at any point in time, but Rowe feeling very comfortable right now with his off-speed pitches. We'll see if he goes with another one right here. Stay away from that big swing.
And he got him. So he strikes out the side there. So we go to the bottom of the third. For all access, you'll enjoy easy access to mobile tickets. Use Raise Pay for concessions and merchandise and receive exclusive offers all on the app. Ballpark app, the official app of Tropicana Field, available for download at the App Store or Google Play today. Well, a couple base runners, but Chaz Rowe strikes out the side in the top half of the inning. Mike Zunino, his battery mate, will begin the bottom of the third for the Rays. Then Margot and Meadows.
Boy, I tell you, just from that shot of Chaz Rowe, his hair and beard are midseason form. Look at that.
He has multiple looks.
Yes, he does. That's big league lettuce.
Yep. Here's Zunino. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. One and one. Zunino down in the count. Zimmerman divided last year between AA and AAA. It was 7-6 in the minor leagues.
Well, it looks pretty comfortable right now. I mean, first inning, a little erratic, but seems to be settling in nicely, going out for his third inning.
And that pitch is upstairs. Well, there are jobs open with this Baltimore club and their rotation and in the bullpen for that matter. You lose 108 games, there could be some openings. And he has Zunino out in front and strikes him out. And right now, John Means, who topped their rotation really last year, and Alex Cobb figures to be in there. Asher Wojciechowski as well. They had actually had a couple of Rule 5 pitchers in camp, and they've sent them back to Houston and the Chicago Cubs respectively, but they looked at them and were thinking of giving at least a look in that rotation. And so if you go out like Zimmerman has today, you can work your way into that competition pretty easily.
Well, 100%. And here's the deal. You don't know how Alex Cobb is going to come out this year.
And then Margot out. Valleca, the shortstop, across to first. 2 up and 2 down.
You know, Cobby struggled with injuries over the last few years, so that leaves you only 2 starters, depending on his health. And look, the Orioles, it's no secret. They're in a rebuilding phase. And if you're in camp with Baltimore right now, you got to feel good about your chances if you're putting together some decent numbers this spring.
Yeah, they had Wade LeBlanc, veteran in camp, as a possible member of their rotation under their second-year manager. Boy, it's been a great opportunity for Brandon Hyde, and at the same time, a great challenge.
Yeah. That's one way to put it, a great opportunity with some great frustrations in there. You know, last year, big-time struggles from Baltimore, finishing up in the cellar.
Skies it to the left side. Ruiz, the wind takes it well into foul territory, and he stayed with it to make the catch. So the Rays are out in the third. We'll go to the fourth. No score. 2 tickets to select games, $2 snacks at every game, and more. Sign up at RaysBaseball.com/RaysRookies. Rays up. Anthony Bonda will take over on the mound. 2 innings for Gil Martin, an inning for Chaz Rowe, and now Bonda in this game.
Well, 26-year-old left-hander coming off an injury last year. You see the numbers that he got late in the season. When he is healthy, he's got a power fastball. He'll sit 93, 95 at times. He can even bump it up to 97.
Now Ruiz, who fouled out his first time, goes after the first pitch. A little chopper to first, handled unassisted down there by Jose Martinez. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Oh, I love the approach, both from Bonda and Ruiz. Why waste any time this spring, you know? Go up there. If you like it, swing, but Bonda coming out, throwing strikes. They've liked what they've seen so far from him this spring. You know, the one thing with Bonda is going to be health. Got to make sure he's healthy. And if he's healthy, definitely got a shot to put in some time at the big league level this year.
Well, he had the Tommy John surgery in June of 2018. So he's at that point now where things should really start to happen for him. Back healthy. Moves ahead of Herrera, 0-2. Went down and in. Came to the Rays from Arizona with that pretty good fastball and a change and a curveball that worked on a slider. Chopper to short, and a nice big hop for Adames. 2 up and 2 down.
Great job right here by Bonda, continuing to pound the strike zone. That's a fastball. 1-2. He's able to locate extremely well, and again, you got to like what you're seeing from him. But you said you were talking about the Tommy John surgery back in 2018, and really it's a 1.5-year process. You know, they say you can get back on the mound in a year, but it's a 1.5 to 2 years before you start feeling the off speed, feeling for the strike zone, getting your mechanics back. And that's, I think, where we're seeing Bonda right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you really do look for. And it's only been a couple hitters here, but command and the ability to put the ball where you want gives you an opportunity to get ahead of hitters. And if you can do that, things start to fall into place.
And you also watch how fast he's working. I mean, there's no hesitation. Yeah, the more deliberate a pitcher is, a lot of times the more doubt they have, and they're just second guessing. You know, you see Bonda right now grabbing the ball, getting right on the rubber, throwing strikes, pounding the strike zone. That's a sign of a confident pitcher.
2-2.
Either that or he wants to get to the postgame spread. One or the other.
Just a little piece of that one foul by Cisco. Well, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, Dwayne.
As a motivator.
Absolutely. I knew on pizza night I was getting that ball and going. We're not wasting time, boys.
And another little ground ball. Lau bobbles it, and that will be an error. Well, a nice little ground ball thrown by Bonda there, but Cisco reaches on the error. Well, this does give Bonda a little more work here in the fourth. 2 outs with a man on. Pitch is down. Jose Rondon. One and one. Full cut there by Rondon. Joe Martin, Rowe, and now Bonda. And a nice pick by Zunino. 2-1. He's got Bonda from Arizona. It's fouled right back. Drafted in 2012 out of San Jacinto College. Andy Pettit spent some time there, and so did Roger Clemens for a little bit before he went to UT.
Really? Yeah. I'm going to have to check that, Dwayne. That looks, it sounds made up, but coming from you, I'll trust you.
And a little popper into shallow center. Kiermaier is there. And that will retire the side. I appreciate your trust.
I trust you. I trust you on everything.
We'll lead it off. Bruce Zimmerman out of the game, and Cody Carroll in, a right-hander now. "15 games last year with Baltimore, spanning 17 innings, and look at the strikeouts and walks. A lot of strikeouts, but also a lot of walks.
A little bit of nucleolution in them.
And 6 home runs.
6 home runs. Obviously, the opponent average is what jumps out to me. Almost 300 in limited games, 15 games with the Orioles. This is back in 2018. So, see what he features today. Obviously, with the state of the Orioles, though, I mean, if you're going out there, like you said earlier in the game, if you're taking the hill, showing some good numbers in spring, you always have a chance.
Adames, Lau, and Diaz for the Rays in the fourth. First pitch upstairs. Well, Zimmerman helped his cause for the Orioles against the Rays here today. 3 innings, 33 pitches in those 3 innings, or 43 pitches in 3 innings. 3 strikeouts, gave up 1 hit, no runs.
I thought he looked really good, very comfortable. You know, first inning was a little bit off with the fastball command, then really got locked in the second and third inning. Showed good stuff, got up to 95, 96 miles an hour.
Adames lofts it into shallow center. Velasquez can't get there. Makes the pickup on 1 hop and a leadoff single for Adames. He is 2 for 2. Collecting both hits for the Rays so far.
Collecting his 5th and 6th hit of the spring, and Adames doing a good job of driving that ball right back up the middle. If you look at his numbers through last year, he actually hit the ball up the middle 39% of the time, which if you spread it out over the entire diamond, that's a high percentage. It just tells you that he's looking to drive the ball back up the middle, and that's a great approach.
Brandon Lau. Pitch. Here's a strike on the corner. One and one. Adames aboard. That's a base hit, shot into right field. Adames advances to second. Lau, who walked in the first, singles in the fourth, and the Rays have an immediate threat against Cody Carroll.
Boy, how about Brandon Lau this spring, hitting 462 coming in. You see him turn on that fastball, such quick hands. I mean, that's a mistake pitch by Carroll, not wanting to go that far inside. And anytime you go inside to a left-hander, especially a left-hander like Brandon Lau, he'll make you pay.
And now the cleanup hitter, Yandy Diaz. He grounded into a double play to end the first when the Rays had 2 men on. 2 men on, nobody out here in the fourth. Carroll, 27. One and one.
Well, Yandy liked that call. Turning around, just making sure. Well, you call that a strike? Really? Disagreeing with Adam Beck. I'm sure it was a polite conversation, though. You know what I mean, Dwayne?
1 and 2. Now, all it took was a look.
Yeah, well, if Yandy looks at me and he's upset, I'm going to apologize, even if it's not my fault. That's a big boy.
Out of play, 1 and 2 still. Carroll with high velocity, up 96 plus. And in the short time we mentioned his numbers last year, a short sample size there, a small sample size, but very heavy with the fastball. A lot of fastballs, occasional slider. He's 2 and 2. A lot of auditions going on in the Baltimore camp. And a wave and a miss. He had Diaz reaching there. And you get a guy with the arm strength of Carroll. He had Tommy John surgery. I don't think he was 20 years old when he had Tommy John surgery. And he still gives you an easy 96, 97.
Boy, incredible arm strength. I mean, we've seen him 96, 98 already today. That's the location that he's getting in trouble with. And if you're not locating, you're throwing one pitch primarily, and you're not locating it, and these guys are going to be good enough to time you up no matter how hard the velocity is.
Sugo fouls it back for strike. Sugo called out on strikes in the second inning. Now a strike, and it's 0-2. Yeah, if you're in the Orioles situation, you see a guy with an arm like this, you want to give him every opportunity to harness it, because that's impressive stuff he has.
Oh yeah, bumping 99 right there. I mean, we've seen some impressive fastballs. You wonder how much they're concentrating on giving this guy a secondary pitch. I mean, you get a 1-2 combination with an arm like that. It's really hard to hit. I mean, we see another fastball right there, 99 miles an hour, inside corner.
So he strikes out Sugo. 2 men on, nobody out. A strikeout of Diaz and a strikeout of Sugo. And here is Jose Martinez. So we'll see if he can cash in on this opportunity for the Rays. All of a sudden, Carroll's gotten very serious out there. One and 0. Two and nothing. It's taken for a strike. The Orioles had invited 29 players beyond the 40-man roster, so they had 29 players in camp, non-roster. Base hit into left by Martinez. Adames is on his way to the plate. He will score. Throw well offline from Mountcastle out there. And the Rays lead 1-0. So it's Jose Martinez who comes through to give the Rays the lead.
Boy, veteran guy like Jose Martinez, he sees what's going on with Carroll. He's sitting dead red. He's primarily throwing all fastballs. He gets the fastball that he's looking for down and in, deposits into left field for the RBI. That's a great approach from a veteran hitter.
So the Rays got the first run of the day. Adames, who led off the inning, scores. Here's Kevin Kiermaier with 2 men on and 2 men out. And he takes the pitch down. Slider that time. Kiermaier caught looking in the second inning. That was against the left-hander Zimmerman. It's fouled back, 1-1. Kiermaier with a couple extra base hits this spring, 2 doubles. Now 1-2. 97 up there. And the 1-2, he goes up and gets him at 98. So the Rays settled for a run. They lead 2. When we come back, we'll chat with Kevin Cash. A 1-0 lead with a run in the bottom of the 4th inning. We're headed into the 5th. An impressive 4th by Anthony Banda, and he's back out there to work the 5th inning. He got a couple ground balls, and man reached on an error, and he got the fly ball to end the inning. So a 16-pitch 4th. You'll face Mason Williams to open the 5th inning, and we're happy to have Kevin Cash, the Rays manager, join us here in the 5th. Gil Martin, Rowe, and Banda pitching here for the Rays so far today. And here's Mason Williams, who drew the walk and softly serves it into right center for a base hit. And Williams is on for the 2nd straight time. This time to lead off the inning in the 5th. He had opened the 3rd with a walk, so he's on again. So, Kevin, great to have you with us. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, good to be here. Sorry about the microphone malfunction on my part. I couldn't get the thing on.
Well, yeah, we have the same problem up here from time to time, and some people are grateful for that.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, Kevin. It happens all the time.
We have a lot of them. I have a lot of them, man. How are you guys?
Oh, pretty good. Thanks for asking. And I guess you're having a good spring all in all.
Yeah, we are. Look, we've stayed healthy for the most part, which has been great. Blake threw a bullpen yesterday. He looked really, really good. We're excited to see his to get back out on the mound for us, and he's going to pitch in Dunedin on Monday. So that's a bright spot. And then the rest of the guys have done a good job of coming in with their bodies in shape, and our training staff has done awesome keeping them healthy. That's what we want. That's our goal, to stay on the field.
And Adama is going to start a potential double play, and they turned it 6-4-3. You know, we had a chance to hear from Blake too earlier today, and he echoed pretty much what you had to say there. I wanted to ask you about Brendan McKay and the inning he had against Minnesota.
He looked really crisp. He did not look like a guy that had not thrown yet this, at this midway point in spring training. The ball was coming out 93, 94 miles an hour. After the first 2 pitches, it looked like he really got his command where he wanted. And he faced some really good Twins hitters right in the middle of the lineup. I know Donaldson was right in there, pitched him tough. He had good feel for all of his pitches. And now him and Kyle, they'll get to the drawing board and figure out how we're best going to build them back up. We talked about the 5-man, the 5-day rotation and that thought, and that's still there, but I think we got to prioritize with his health first. So he'll get the extra day probably till he comes back again, and then Kyle and Brendan will revisit where we go from there.
Well, you got some new faces coming in spring training 2020 here. Jose Martinez just getting the RBI single last half inning. Looked impressive so far. What have you seen from him so far this spring?
High energy guy. We've liked him for a long time. He brings the energy every day. Teammates love him. Very vocal and likes to hit. He's really athletic in the box where he's just got to, he's got some funkiness, but he knows how to get timed up. That's for sure. Here we go, KK.
And Kiermaier's right there to make the grab. Well, Kevin, we appreciate the visit. We should always leave them wanting, and that's what we're going to do here in the top of the 5th.
You guys got it. All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Rays out in front. It's a 1-0 game.
And much a less is more type of effort type of deal, and I feel really good seeing the ball well, so it's just about staying locked in from now for the last 2.5, 3 weeks of spring.
We've talked a lot about your goals, but we want to talk about some of these new faces on the team, specifically Jose Martinez. He had an RBI today. He just always seems to bring the energy. How would you describe his presence in the clubhouse and the dugout?
Yeah, you said it right there. Energy, energetic, just fun guy who's been around, who's been in professional baseball for a long time, and those are the guys that we need in the clubhouse. And he's a great addition. What he can do on the field, but in the clubhouse as well, and on the planes, bus rides, little things like that go a long way. So we know we're in for a treat throughout the whole season, having a guy like him and his great personality on board. So we'll take as many of those guys as we can get.
And Manuel Margot is another guy who adds just more depth to this roster. What have your impressions been of him so far this spring?
Yeah, he's a great athlete, great defender, really can handle the bat as well. And he's a guy like me where, we can really separate ourselves from others on the defensive side of the game, but don't sleep on what he can do offensively. He's always find the barrel, can hit the ball all over, and he's another great addition to our team where he's going to bring that athletic ability, versatility in all three outfield positions. And that's key for a team like us where we're always throwing a different lineup there each and every day. So he's great, got a great attitude, always working. So I like the guys we brought in. Credit to our front office for knocking these trades out the park the last couple years especially. And we have a dangerous roster, and that's a beautiful thing.
You mentioned you have a dangerous roster. We've talked to a lot of guys about this, about the potential of the team this season. It seems that the sense is last year was just the tip of the iceberg for this team.
Yeah, it was. We got a taste of where we wanted to be, and it's getting back there and advancing farther and farther. And we're going to try to host that dang trophy up at the end of the year, and we have the guys to do it. But if we go out there and stay healthy and play to our potential, we'll be doing just that. But if we buy into the program and we all have each other's backs, just play our baseball. If we do that more times than not, we're going to be celebrating a lot in the clubhouse from day one throughout the 8 months throughout the season. And that's our goal, and we're striving for that, and we're ready to get it rocking and rolling.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thanks so much, KK. Appreciate you. Dwayne and Doug, let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Zunino hit the fly ball to center, caught by Velasquez, and Margot behind in the count 1-2, facing Brandon Klein, who has been in this Baltimore organization since 2012 and ran into Tommy John surgery 2016. Started his career in their minor league system as a starting pitcher, and everything's been out of the bullpen since he returned from Tommy John surgery, and got a little time last year finally in the big leagues. 34 games, just over 40 innings out of the bullpen for the Orioles. And he's 2-2 here with Margot. He was a second-round pick in 2012. So Margot, who grounded to short his first time, facing the right-hander now. And Margot, essentially, his forte in the major leagues in San Diego was outstanding defense, great speed, and tough against left-handed pitching. He lifts a fly ball into shallow left center. Velasquez makes the catch on this one, and he is the second out in the bottom of the fifth.
A couple power arms coming out of the Orioles bullpen. Klein and Carroll, these guys are reaching up to about 95, 98 miles an hour consistently with the fastballs. Looking to do a little damage, see if they can work their way onto the opening day roster.
Baseball is such a wonderful game, and it's so difficult from a number of perspectives. But we talk about being a success and how even in a game when you're so successful, it's also a game where you're going to have to deal with failure from time to time. You're going to have to overcome injury. They say, well, the best hitters fail 7 out of 10 times and all that. And I was thinking about Klein. Here's a young guy, second-round pick. He's in the minor leagues. He has Tommy John surgery. He comes back from that and spends 3 or 4 more years in the minor leagues. Finally gets to the big leagues. And in his debut, he faces the Minnesota Twins and gives up 2 home runs in his major league debut. He has to face Nelson Cruz for 1 and Mitch Garver, and those 2 guys hit home runs against him. So after all of that time in the minor leagues, coming back from Tommy John surgery, he's touched for those 2 home runs, and it's a perfect example of you've got to keep going. And
right.
here he is now. He got a chance to make this club probably in the bullpen.
The hardest thing about Major League Baseball is not getting to the big leagues. Now, getting to the big leagues is obviously extreme. The odds are against you. But staying in the big leagues, and you've heard this a million times, Dwayne, but staying in the big leagues is something that just doesn't happen. And that's why when you see guys go out there, put together careers that are 7, 8, 10 years long, it's impressive. And it's not impressive because that these guys are so talented. It's really about the adjustments they've had to make over the last 8 to 10 years.
Meadows turns on this one and pulls it out of here. Foul. A long shot off the bat of Meadows there. Yeah, you're right. And I think that's something that so often is overlooked, because it's a battle every day.
Well, you look at guys who break in, you know, take a pitcher, for example. Power pitchers break in typically, you know, riding the fastball, going with something hard behind it. And then look at CC Sabathia, for example. How about him? You know, when he came in, he was throwing 95 from the left side with a wicked slider. I mean, it was nasty. And then you watch the way his career transformed, and what we saw last year was 90% cut fastballs, sliders, cutters, the occasional changeups. And, you know, you just got to adjust. And if you can continue to adjust and find ways to reinvent yourself, you can stick around. But that's why it's so hard to stick around in the big leagues.
Michael Perez on the hit now here in the 5th inning after the walk to Meadows. 2 outs. And a strike to count on Perez. Brandon Klein, pitcher number 3 for Baltimore. Pitch is up. It's 1-1. And Mason McCoy at second base has replaced Alberto for Baltimore. The little ground balls the other way off the end of the bat into left. That's going to allow Meadows to go to third, and the Rays are going to have men on the corners. Well, that side of the infield open for Perez, and that was a cue shot right there that wound up in short left field.
Great job by Perez. Look, it's a fastball away. Perez is just doing what hitters are taught to do. That's one thing I never understood, right? So you do all these shifts, but the pitcher still pitches the way he wants to pitch. So if the batter does and executes the way that they're supposed to, like right there, that's a fastball away. All Perez had to do was go with the pitch, and it's a single with a man on first and third now. When you do these shifts, it seems like you would want the pitcher to almost pitch into the shift, but that's just not what happens a lot of times. And right there, it backfired, obviously, against the Orioles.
Well, Brandon Lowe, Nate Lowe has been announced as the hitter for him. So the Rays starting to make some changes down the middle of this game. Rays scored a run in the 4th inning against Cody Carroll, who gave up 3 hits and a run and struck out 3 in that inning. Now with 2 outs, the Rays have another threat. And here's Nate Lowe. It's down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Two and 0. Pitch upstairs. 3-0.
I don't know what kind of diet Nate Lowe went on. I need to talk to him.
He is slim and trim.
I need some help. I'm ready to join him.
And he draws a 4-pitch walk to load the bases right here. Well, the bases are loaded. Yandy Diaz has been up here a couple times with men on base. He's grounded into a double play and has struck out. Now he has the bases loaded with 2 outs, and the Orioles will make a pitching change.
The Orioles 1-0. Well, I am joined now by Jose Martinez. And Jose, an RBI for you. We're a couple weeks into games and spring training. How would you say you're getting acclimated to your new team?
I mean, it's kind of different this year. I always do winter ball over there in Venezuela. I didn't do it this year. I actually took a lot of time off without, do any baseball activities and everything. It's not actually not an excuse, but just go out there and try to do my job. Just trying to get some good at bats and stuff. I've been slow a little bit, but I think it's coming along, and working with the coaches and all the guys actually there. Trying to just go out there and relax and do my job.
What was your reaction when you found out that you would be a Ray?
I mean, first of all, you always get surprised when you trade. You never expect to get traded, even though it's like the year before, and they was talking about the stuff and traders. But when I was coming here, there's a great group of guys, 100%, and I mean, they go out there and take care of business every time, and they've been winning. So I think coming from St. Louis to here, I don't think it's any different, just because, I mean, it's all about winning, and you go out there and just trying to be there, trying to be a good teammate, and try to put a little bit of me to win games.
Unanimously among your teammates and Kevin Cash, they've described you as a guy who brings the energy every day, and that your personality is infectious in this clubhouse. How would you describe your personality?
I mean, I'm the guy that I go out there and trying to relax, and baseball is hard. Baseball is hard 100%, and it's all about the fun, and all about to make all the people around you that just trust in themselves, and you're gonna have a lot of days. It's, 1,000 of games and at-bats and situations that we're gonna go in the year. So you're just gonna go out there and have fun. I mean, a little smile on the face is always good for you.
Might as well have fun amidst the grind, right?
100%. Now, baseball is doing having fun. I think you're gonna have a lot of bad days. 100%.
There we go. That's a life motto to live by, guys. Dwayne and Doug, let's send it back to you.
All right, 1-2 the count on Yandy Diaz here with the bases loaded. It's been a frustrating day for Diaz so far, but he's got a chance with 2 outs and runners on every base here to do some damage. But he has fallen behind in the count against Isaac Matson. And a little tap towards short, going to be picked up by Valaika. Wide throw to first, but off the bag, Herrera there to make the tag to retire the side. Still a 1 of a suite that now comes with all-inclusive catering. Visit RaysBaseball.com today. A little peek into the Rays dugout there as the Rays make a number of changes defensively, and we'll try to get to those as quickly as we can as we move to the 6th. Diego Castillo will be the new pitcher.
Yeah, Diego Castillo rolling in here. You see what he did last year. Obviously a great season overall. 65 games, 68 2/3 innings. The walk to punch out ratio 26-81. Only 8 home runs, and really it's the slider. He goes out there, relies on that slider heavily. 52% of the time comes in around 89, 90 miles an hour, and opponents only hitting 171 off that pitch.
And Pat Valaika is going to lead off the 6th against him. Michael Perez doing the catching. That's a ball inside, 1-0. Well, Castillo certainly a major part of this Rays pitching staff, whether he's opening games or whether he's closing them or being the setup guy. Whatever the Rays need him to do, he's been able to do. And that devastating slider is something that he really relies upon at any time. And as you mentioned, he throws that more than anything else.
Yeah, it's incredible when you're talking about a guy who throws a 97, 98 mile an hour bowling ball for a fastball. He actually relies on his slider more than he does his fastball. Well, for good reason, though. I mean, it's just virtually an unhittable pitch.
And a cut and a miss right there. And then you try to catch up to that.
Impossible. If he's throwing strikes, I mean, if him and a guy, Jose Alvarado. If you got that combination throwing strikes, you know, they're very similar, right-hander and left-hander. It's like the mirror image of each other. Fastballs run totally off the plate. They reach up 97, 98, and their sliders, I mean, they're just off the chart.
And that is strike 3 call. Second time Haleka has been called out on strikes, and boy, that is a tough combo right there from Diego Castillo.
We'll see some highlights of him last year, and a lot of these are going to be sliders, swinging and missing. I mean, the pitch it starts right down the middle. And remember, these hitters are going up there thinking they got to react to a 97, 98 mile an hour fastball. So anytime you can put a wrinkle on it and still come in around 89, 90 and throw it for a strike, I mean, watch out. I don't know how you do hit that.
That's a foul ball back for a strike. Well, Castillo hit a little wrinkle down the middle of the season last year, but boy, did he recover. And what an important part he was in the success story that this club had a year ago.
He talked about, you know, his role. What's his role going to be this year? You know, obviously with Pagan being gone, that opens up a closing role. You would think Nick Anderson would kind of shuffle back and pick up the majority of those innings. But Castillo went out there and had 8 saves on the year last year. So you know he can handle that situation. And at times they're going to have to go to somebody besides Anderson. So obviously Castillo, one of those guys who can fill that need.
Well, there's the breakout first half, second half, and what a way to close out the season. He's ahead of Mountcastle. And a wave and a miss. Well, you get behind him and he comes in with that pitch, he is untouchable.
Well, and here's the deal, he throws it at any count. A guy throwing this hard usually can never spot up an off-speed pitch the way he does. And I honestly think he has more confidence throwing his slider for a strike than he does his fastball. So there's really just no chance for you to sit and just look for one pitch. I mean, you have to react to both pitches. And when you're talking about a 98, 99 mile an hour fastball and bouncing that with a slider coming in 10 miles an hour slower, I mean, good luck.
And now Ruiz takes ball 1 too low. Two and 0. Pitcher number 4 for the Rays, Castillo. And Ruiz fouls it away. It's 2-1. Rays are the only run of this game. Now 3-1 on Rio Ruiz. Now that's lifted foul toward the corner. And out of play, well out of play, with the wind catching hold of that one. So after falling behind, Castillo falling behind Ruiz now has the count out to 3-2. And he loses him. So a 2-out walk. Second walk of the game issued by Rays pitching. And that will bring up Dilson Herrera.
First baseman number 2, Dilson Herrera. Attention, man. Hit throwing at first base number 81, Lyman Van.
So Herrera 0 for 2. He shoots it foul. Look out into the seats. Line drive foul ball for a strike. Ryland Bannon is running at first for Ruiz. And Castillo keeps an eye on him. It's Nate Lowe handling first base. Jose Martinez started over there. Chance Cisco is on deck, but 2 outs in the inning with a man on. And a cut and a miss, ball getting away. And up to second base goes Bannon. 2 strikes the count on Herrera. So that ball got away from Michael Perez. Castillo, sometimes tough to hit and sometimes tough to catch. Pass ball charged to Perez, and now a wave and a miss. That takes care of Herrera to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0. Another game, home half of inning 6 coming. Rays on top. Stream spring training games live or on demand with MLB.tv. Watch high definition video on any size screen at home, on the road, or in the office. Visit MLB.tv for details. Turns out to be a beautiful afternoon. Clear skies, sun out. A little wind in the ballpark.
It was chilly this morning, but when we got out here, I mean, now it's feeling like spring training baseball. See the tiki deck out in left field packed. There's people having a good time out there.
Now the new pitcher is Eric Hanhole. And the first pitch into Yoshi Sasugo is in there, a strike from Hanhold. One ball, one strike. That's a wave and a miss, 1-2. Zimmerman worked 3 innings. The Rays got their run off Carroll in the inning he worked. Klein for 2/3, Matson for a 1/3, and now Sasugo is out on strikes. Eric Hanhole records a strikeout of the first man he faces.
Boy, Hanhole following suit with all the other Orioles relievers that we're seeing. We're seeing mid-90s, climbing the ladder on Sasugo right there. Just some power arms.
Tall right-hander delivers, and that one skips all the way to the right of the screen and into the Rays dugout. foul the other way. A 1-1 count. Now 2-1. Foul the other way, and that holds the count at 2-2. Colin Poche up in the bullpen. Let's look at the pitch down, and it's 3-1. 3-2 now. And a cut and a miss for out number 2.
No, not a lot of off speed coming from Handhold, coming back, and 3-2 pitch fastball, just rearing back, bumping about 96 miles an hour outside corner, getting it done.
Now Kevin Kiermaier at the plate. So a couple strikeouts for Handhold. Kiermaier takes a little wide. Down around his feet. And it's 2-0. Handhold and Holiday the battery now. Cisco started behind the plate. Holiday in there. Two and one the count. Lifted down the left side toward the corner, and the wind's going to carry that one out of play.
Well, that's what Kiermaier right there is what he's been working on all spring. When he comes to spring training, has a new stance, trying to work on opposite field power, driving the ball to left field a little bit more. Last year, we only saw 22% of his hits go to the opposite field. So that's something that he wants to capitalize on. And you think about it, with his speed, if he can open up all fields to him, I mean, you're going to watch his offensive numbers jump.
The count is full. It's fouled out of play. And the fastball fouled back. That one in the mid-90s. Rays got their run in the fourth, driven home by Jose Martinez, who has since left the game. 2 outs, bases empty here with Kiermaier at the plate. And he taps another one foul. Taylor Walls would be next. And if Kiermaier keeps the inning going. And Kiermaier does indeed keep the inning going by drawing the 2-out walk. And Walls will get a chance to swing the bat. Walls with 10 home runs last year, Double-A and Single-A. He takes a strike. Quickly behind in the count, 0-2. Walls a switch hitting infielder. Played part of the year here at Charlotte last season. 1-2. And spent the other part of the year with the Biscuits in Montgomery. And he is out on strikes to retire the side. We are through 6, 1-0 Rays. Colin Poche, pitcher number 5 for the Rays, 1 inning for Diego Castillo. He struck out 3, walked a man, and gives way to Poche. 5-5 and 51 outings last year. And the Rays carry a 1-0 lead into the 7th inning. Holiday is going to lead off here in the 7th inning. So the catcher Holiday to lead off the 7th. Right now, let's check in with Tricia.
Well, hey there, Dwayne. I am joined now by Paul Hoover. We were just analyzing the weather and how beautiful it is out here. Paul, a lot of the talk during spring training has been the competition at the catcher position. Obviously, Mike Zunino is the guy, but you've got a healthy competition going on. You got Mikey Perez back there. You got Kevin Smith and Chris Herman. How do you see that shaping up so far?
It's been a really good competition with those guys. They all bring different qualities. 2 of them left-handed bat, 1 of them right-handed bat. Some versatility with Chris being able to play some other positions. But it's going well. It should be interesting to see how things shake out.
Mike Zunino in the offseason, the Rays re-signed him. How excited did that make you, knowing that Mike was coming back?
Oh, real excited. I mean, last year, just developing a relationship, and then carrying out through the whole season, and now being able to build on what we kind of started last year has been really fun for us, and hopefully he continues to get better behind the plate.
The front office has talked a lot about how his play behind the plate is what makes him stand out, but they want his play at the plate to continue to get better. I know Mike has talked a lot about that being a focus for him. How much confidence do you have in him to get back to what he knows he can be?
A lot of confidence. They've done a lot of work. He's done a lot of work this offseason. It's carrying and it's registering here in spring training, so we're excited for him, and hopefully he continues to keep improving and kind of hit the ground running come opening day.
All right. Thanks so much, Paul. Appreciate your time. Dwayne and Doug, let's send it back to you.
All right. Well, a strikeout of Holiday. Jose Rondon at the plate facing Poche. Takes a pitch down, 1-0. So the Rays with Poche on the mound. Michael Perez doing the catching. Right side of the infield has Nate Lowe at first. Ford Proctor is at second base. Taylor Walls at short, and Zach Rutherford at third base. And a 2-0 count here on Rondon. Nathan Lucas in the game here in the 7th in right field. O'Grady's in center and Stevenson in left. Kyle Stevenson out there. And a 2-1 count here on Rondon.
Well, that was a great job by Tricia getting Hoover out there talking about the catching situation right now, because that's one of the things I've been very interested in watching this entire spring and how that's going to shake out.
Yeah, and not an easy decision to make, I think.
I mean, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah, you got a guy in Mikey Perez who looked last year when he was healthy to start the season. I thought he looked fantastic behind the plate. You know, he goes out there and he's catching guys like Castillo and Alvarado, and he's making it look like, you know, these guys are playing catch at 90 miles an hour when their stuff is just devastating, and it's actually very hard to receive, but he was able to do it.
Walls under it, making the grab. So Rondon pops out to the Rays shortstop, Taylor Walls. Walls out of Florida State. Now Mason Williams. Williams walked and singled in the 3rd and 5th innings. A little breaking ball down and away. Only run of this game driven in the 4th by Jose Martinez. And that's a strike, 1-1. Sean Gilmartin started for the Rays and was impressive in the 2 innings he worked. Chaz Rose struck out 3 in an inning. Anthony Bonde impressive in 2 innings. Diego Castillo 3 strikeouts in an inning, and now Colin Poche with 2 outs, bases empty in the 7th, and a 2-1 count on Mason Williams. Rays with 5 hits, Baltimore with 3. Williams lifts it foul, and that will head out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the fastball misses wide. 3-2.
Seen some pretty good arms coming out of both bullpens, haven't we, today? You look at the Rays. I mean, they're going with Rowe, Castillo. We saw Bonda come out. I mean, some of these guys, or most of these guys, are definitely going to be a part of this team, whether it's breaking at a opening day or some point in time down the road. But I mean, some really strong bullpen arms today.
Well, we chronicled the strikeouts here. Rowe had 3 in 1 inning. Castillo 3 strikeouts in an inning. And for Baltimore, Zimmerman had 3 in the 3 innings he worked, but then Carroll, who gave up the run, pitched 1 inning but struck out 3, and Handhold in the bottom of the 6th walked a man, but he also had 3 strikeouts. And ball 4 is too high. Mason Williams on for the 3rd time today. 2 walks and a single in between. And Andrew Velasquez is the hitter.
You want to hear something sad there, Dwayne? When you just said he's been on 3 times, 2 walks and a hit. I'm glad, because it matches up with my scorecard. And that's actually very sad, because usually my scorecard is that far off. Especially these spring games. Oh, man, I just don't look over here. I look away. Eyes focused straight forward.
I was thinking you might feel pretty good.
No, well, I felt good for a second. I was like, oh, man, look at that. I'm locked in. And then I realized I should be locked in the entire time. I can call this game.
Back in at first. Velasquez at the plate with a 1-strike count. Mullins, the runner at first now, and Velasquez fouls it back. It's a ball, 2-strike count. Well, Baltimore with a runner on, they've stranded 5 through 6. And Poche misses upstairs. It's 1-0. And the fastball takes care of Velasquez. He's out on strikes. A man left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Great March 26, starting at 3 p.m. Cesar Valdez will be the new pitcher for Baltimore. Number 6 of the game for the Orioles.
Did you say it was an hour-long pregame show?
Yeah, are you ready?
I'm going to need a snack midway through.
I think that could be arranged. Brian O'Grady here, hitting out of the 9th spot, will lead off the bottom of the 7th. Boy, that opening day will be here before you know it. Only one man on the left side of the infield, and he's pulled way off third. So the bunt attempt by O'Grady, and it's foul. Rylan Bannon, the only man on the third base side. Normally would be playing third. One and one to count. Chopped into and out of the dugout down there. And there's Chico Fernandez.
Yep.
Be careful with that's very extensive and expensive hardware he has there. He has his workstation all set up down there, keeping track of everything that's going on. Little pitch is fouled. And it's now 1-2. A ball, 2-strike count on O'Grady. And he is out in front and over that pitch for out number 1. So the first out here in the 7th inning is a strikeout.
There's Chico. Look at him. Hard at work.
The video coordinator. Not a better video coordinator in the game.
I think we're going ahead. Yeah, that might be the what's on that sticky note right there. We got a password we're showing to everybody.
Uh-oh.
Might have to change it quick.
Chico Pinto taking a ball.
Chico's been here. I gotta say, was he an original? He might be an original Ray. I mean, he was here when I was here, helping me go over video clips of the longest home runs I ever gave up. There's a lot of footage, Wayne.
The Pinto hits this one a long way, and that's going to be extra bases. Pinto's already around second and will wind up at third. Boy, he got some good carry on that one. Got it in between the 2 outfielders and winds up at third base.
Yeah, Pinto driving this one out to right center field. circling around second base, getting to third for the triple. How about it?
Yeah, he's going to have to go back to second. Apparently the ball bounded up over that wall eventually and disappeared.
Well, Pinto showing some speed there.
Yeah, he was doing what you're supposed to do. Don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Go. What was it? Hanser Alberto in the first inning hit one foul. He was trying to round the bases.
Yep.
Go until they tell you to stop.
Now Perez on the ground to the right side. McCoy makes the play, and over to third base goes Pinto. So 2 gone. Nate Lowe will bat. Let's see if the Rays can pick up another run here. It's a 1-0 game right now. Lowe entered as a pinch hitter in the 5th and drew a walk. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitcher number 6 in the game for Baltimore. And he has Lowe out in front. Valdez. Two and one. Chopper foul. 2-2. Ground ball again, foul. This one toward the dugout. Rays scored their run in the 4th when they put together singles by Adames and Brandon Lau, and 2 outs later Jose Martinez lined a single into left, and that's been the only run scored today. Rays have left 7. This one is foul, out of play. Baltimore no runs with 6 men left. Three balls, 2 strikes. And a foul tip strikeout, and that will retire the side. Rays leave a man. We go to the 8th. 1-0. We go to the 8th inning with the Rays on top. Regular season quickly approaching, and the Rays are hungry for another exhilarating postseason race. Single game tickets to great matchups featuring the Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, and other outstanding opponents at RaysBaseball.com or in the MLB Ballpark app. 2020 Rays Baseball presented by Baycare. Well, Michael Plasmeyer is going to be the new pitcher for the Rays, their 6th of the day. A couple strikeouts and a walk in 1 inning for Poche, and now Plasmeyer comes on. He'll be facing Mason McCoy to open the 8th inning. And the pitch is a ball. McCoy entered the game in the 5th inning for Alberto at second base, so this is his first plate appearance. And he takes a strike. One and two. Two balls, 2 strikes. Rays got Plasmeyer from Seattle in the Malik Smith and Mike Zunino deal. He spent most of the season last year here in Charlotte. He was 7-2 here, 9-3 overall between A ball and 1 game at Durham AAA. Into right field it goes. That ball is going to be caught out there. Lucas on the run makes the grab.
Oh, very nice catch. Way to go back on that, Lucas. Not an easy play, especially with the wind today. Plasmeyer going out there, throwing a lot of strikes, attacking hitters. A lot you got to like about him. Here you see Lucas driving back, looking good, tracking that ball down.
This first pitch is chopped to shortstop, and Walls takes care of that. Walls retires Diaz. And Taylor Davis steps in. Davis took over at first in the 6th inning. So a couple quick outs here against Plasmeyer. It's a strike, 1-1. Plasmeyer out of St. Louis, still lives there. And pitched for the University of Missouri. Two and one. So you start to see some names that over the next year or so you might hear more about. And Plasmeyer would be one of those guys, a lefty. 2-2.
You gotta like his composure on the mound, throwing a lot of strikes. He's got that angle to where he's coming up. I wouldn't call it high 3/4, but able to shift around the plate. Good feel for the fastball command. Attacking hitters at all times. It's lots to like from this young guy.
But it really has been interesting to watch what the Rays have done over the last few years and how they have essentially rebuilt the minor league system. And it's been a combination of trades and good draft picks, line drive base hit into left center. So a 2-out base hit for Davis. He's aboard. And this is, at this point, some of the cream of the minor league crop starting with Wander Franco and Brendan McKay. Good news about him. The inning he threw the other day against the Twins. Brujan, Shane Baz. It'll be fun to watch his progress in the minor leagues this year. And looking for Honeywell, Brent Honeywell, to get back into action after a couple of physical setbacks. Bannon up here with a count of 1-0. Ryland Bannon. Glassmeyer falling behind him.
Boy, I got to talk to Honeywell for the first time this year and really sit down with him and chat. And
He's a personable guy, isn't
boy,
he?
I cannot wait. And I know the Rays can't wait till he's in the big leagues, but I cannot wait until he is in the big leagues and we get to chat with him more frequently, because this guy, his personality, his stuff, everything about him is major league, and he is a lot of fun to be around. You know, I was talking to him. He was telling me about all his different pitch grips and you know, his screwball with something that he's famous for. And you know, and we're 3 minutes into this conversation. He stops what he's doing mid-sentence, stops, looks me directly in the eyes, and he's like, man, and I'll keep this clean. He is like, man, I love pitching. You understand? I love pitching. And I'm just looking at him, I'm like, you know what, dude? You're inspiring me. I want to go play catch right now because of the way you're talking.
Yeah, his personality will do that too.
Oh, it's great. I can't wait till he's up here. And I mean, all those guys, all those prospects. You talk about a list of prospects that any club would be lucky to have. Those 5 guys that they just showed, Shane Baz, you know, some of the reports I'm hearing on him, filthy.
When they first made that deal, you thought the 2 primary guys who came this way, you thought that's pretty good. You know, you get those 2 guys,
right.
and the more I explored the 3rd component of that deal, you know, I mean, people had great things to say about him. He's a Houston kid. Could have gone to college, decided to go pro, and the Rays really could have something there, and it will be fun to watch Baz and his progress here over the next season, just to see where he is. And you look at Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows coming over here, and then Shane Baz in the Archer deal. I mean, it's great any way you want to size that one up. What a great deal.
Holy
that's
cow.
turned out to be for the Rays. And really, you have to believe part of the major turnover as a result in Pittsburgh.
Right. You know, it'll be interesting to see Chris Archer coming back into town. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to get the opening day nod, but he'll probably pitch first or second game. And it just be interesting to see that. But wow, what a trade. And I mean, look, you can dissect that, like you said, any way possible. Tyler Glasnow on his way to a possible Cy Young before he got hurt last year. Austin Meadows, the best offensive player for the Rays last season, you know, a 922 OPS, and he looks to continue that moving forward. And then again, Shane Baz, I mean, this is a power arm that nobody's seen yet, that you hear could be a top prospect. So
he might be the best. He might be the best of the 3 the Rays got back.
You never know, and that's what I've heard from professional scouts saying, wait till this guy gets up.
Yep. That's what I had started to hear that early. And here's a look at Shane Baz now.
Yep.
In the minor leagues.
Well, look, easy delivery, super easy delivery. He's got everything that you want from a prospect. He's tall. He's got a downward tilt to his fastball, power arm, good off-speed pitch, great hair.
Yeah.
Nothing you don't like about him.
Canelo sends a fly ball into center, caught out there by O'Grady. 2 men left. We go to the bottom.
Park with the Rays in the 8th inning. Well, I am joined now by Brent Honeywell. And Brent, yesterday you threw a 20-pitch bullpen session. Of course, you had elbow surgery in June. How are you feeling after that bullpen session?
It was good. It was good. I'm getting better each time out. So I think the biggest thing is I just keep progressing the way that I'm progressing, and, you know, not try and rush anything as of yet. So, but yeah, everything's been going well.
How pleased are you with the leaps that you've been able to make during spring training? We've heard you talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think, you know, it's kind of just to progress it, just the progress I'm making throughout this is kind of, I didn't really know where I was going to be 3 months out, and it kind of just progressed a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. But I hit a couple hurdles, and I think the hurdles are the biggest part, especially right now, just getting back into the swing of things. I know everything's moving fast in spring training, but I can't move as fast just yet. So we're just trying to take it one day at a time.
You've been through a lot, but when you do get over those hurdles, how gratifying of a feeling is that for you? You talk about how much you just love this game.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like I said, is getting back together with my teammates. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that's helped me out the most, is getting back with these guys and being able to share a dugout with them again, and just expecting good things out of them this year. And I do love baseball, and I think the biggest thing is I just want these guys to win as much as I do.
A lot of these guys on the pitching staff have gone through just about everything you could think of, specifically Charlie Morton. What kind of advice maybe has he given you, or any of the other guys on staff, through this process?
Well, I mean, everybody's been great from the top down, even position guys and pitchers. But I think the biggest thing is Charlie and Glass and Snell. They just say, hey, look, don't rush. You don't have to rush. I think they want me there, and I think that they know that I can pitch there. And I think the biggest thing is that I can't help them at 85%. I need to be ready to go, and they stay on me about taking my time and not rushing through anything. So Charlie's played this game for a while, and I think the biggest thing that he's probably told me is you don't have to rush. Just make sure your body's able to do what you're asking it to do at the time.
How do you personally deal with that? How do you balance not wanting to rush back, but also feeling very eager to get back?
Well, I mean, it helps me out a lot. Watching baseball helps out a lot. I think the biggest thing is that I kind of, I haven't pitched in a while. I haven't competed in a while. I think that's the biggest thing. But just staying throughout the whole game is kind of a big help to me. Learning and seeing who I'm probably hoping to see, in the middle of the year, something like that. Just being able to scout the other side out and see how they're doing, and watching what our guys do and the difference between our guys, and I think finding out what our guys do best, and what kind of situations that they perform the best at.
You mentioned you can't help the team when you're at 85%. Do you have an idea of when you will be at 100%? I know that's hard to tell, but do you have an idea?
Well, I can't really put that on it just yet, but like I said earlier, I mean, I'm progressing really quick and really fast and feeling pretty good. So, just they're going to be there when I need them the most. So I think that's the biggest thing.
All right. Thanks so much, Brent, for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll be right back here at Charlotte Sports.
It's leading 1-0. Pete Fairbanks is going to be the new pitcher. He is pitcher number 7 on the day. Last year splitting time between Texas and the Rays. And the Rays really like this arm.
Boy, you're not kidding. I mean, and for good reason. Fairbanks being a 6'5" right-hander, obviously he has some good tilt on the ball, but he can bring it. Sits around 97 to 99 miles an hour, and he's got a good curveball behind it. As long as he can get on top of that pitch, it's got good depth, and if he's going out there and he's attacking the strike zone, he can be very hard to hit.
LeBron Holiday, the veteran catcher who entered the game in the 6th inning, will lead off the 9th. The first pitch, that fastball upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. That one in at 97 from the get-go.
It's always interesting to me when I watch Fairbanks pitch. His delivery is so different from any other type of power pitcher. And watch the arm stroke. It's a shortened arm stroke. A nice curveball there, but you'll see it. And most pitchers, when they break the hands out of their glove, the hand with the ball drops down toward the belt. Right, and it has a nice long arm stroke, and that's why the delivery takes a little while. But with Fairbanks, he kind of cuffs it and goes to his ear right there, almost like a catcher going to an ear a little bit quicker. And it just, usually you can't generate as much velocity because of that, but with Fairbanks it's not the case. I mean, obviously this guy has no problem generating the power, but it's always just a different type of delivery, and to me I think it's a little deceptive on hitters too.
2 ball, 2 strike count on Holiday. The DH Rondon is on deck. It's fouled the other way. It's fouled back. Runs, 6 hits for the Rays, no runs, 4 hits for Baltimore. Sean Gilmartin, the left-hander, started this game, worked 2. And that's going to run the count full here to Holiday. And a high fly ball back into left. That wind going out, taking it toward the corner, and that's going to take it all the way out of play. Well, that ball started almost in straightaway left, but the wind headed toward the corner got hold of that one.
Yeah, boy, honestly, I thought that had a chance to end up in the bullpen. See that wind take that ball about 25, 30 feet to the left. It's tracking. You see where it's tracking. See the left fielder going straight back, and then all of a sudden having to hightail it over the left side, and then oops. That wind's playing tricks on everybody, Dwayne.
Yep. Dedham played perfectly too on the berm.
Yeah. It was a good effort. He tracked it all the way in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He tracked it all the way in. It just didn't work out.
And there's ball 4. So Fairbanks an extended at bat against Holiday, and Holiday draws the walk. And that's been the issues you alluded to, Doug, with Fairbanks. That arm, they like that arm, but it's sometimes not easy to corral.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times with power arms, that's exactly what you're talking about. I mean, you go out there and it can be harder to command because you're throwing upper 90s to 100 miles an hour. And if you tone it down and you go out there and pitch to the corners around 95, 96, well, then you're throwing strikes, but a lot of times are you being more hittable? Are you putting it where you want to, but all of a sudden you're getting back into a zone where hitters can handle it? So there's a little give and take, and I know Kyle Snyder works with these guys closely to maximize the potential on the mound, but also keep them in the strike zone. And with Fairbanks, again, if he's in the strike zone, I mean, he's going to be a weapon for this bullpen. It's just going to be interesting to see how he progresses through the spring.
Well, they have Mason Janvrin running now in the place of Holiday at first. Jose Rondon at the plate with a count of a ball and a strike. Strike on the inside part of the plate, now 1-2. It's a popper foul, will carry out a play. Keeps the count right there. The ball, 2 strikes. Upstairs, 2-2. Well, the Rays playing a split squad today against the Braves, and then the Orioles here in Charlotte County. Runner takes off, swing and a miss, throw down is not going to be in time. A stolen base on the strikeout, and now the potential tying run is in scoring position with one out in the ninth inning. Cedric Mullins, who's the center fielder now, will be the hitter. So 1 on, 1 out in the ninth in a one-run game. Mullins takes the pitch for a strike. Mullins saw limited time in the big leagues. And his first plate appearance in this game after entering the game as a runner in the seventh. And now it's 1-1. A little foul ball, 1-2. This is game 3 of 4 between the Rays and the Orioles. Rays won 15-2 over Baltimore in the first meeting, and then 5 days ago played to a 3-3 tie. Upstairs, and the count is 2-2, and this one a 1-0 ball game. And they'll play again next week. A week and a day from today. And that is strike 3 call. Ball popping away from Perez. And Mullen caught looking. Second strikeout of the inning. Second out of the inning. Here it is.
Well, there it is. Yeah, Perez going and trying to get that ball, and typically you're not going to get that call, especially if you don't hang on to it. That's a 50-50 call anyways, and Mullins obviously disagreeing with Adam Beck behind home plate.
TJ Nichting, the hitter now. And he swings and misses that high fastball for a strike. Well, the Rays a hit, a run on 6 hits, and the Orioles no runs on 4 hits. A 2-strike count right here as Fairbanks is trying to put this one to rest. That one is low. And a block there by Perez. He keeps the runner at second with a count 1-2.
Oof, good block right there for Perez. 0-2 curveball going into the dish. You'll see it right here. Look how low he gets, and picture perfect technique right there for Perez. Get that glove down first, smother it with the chest.
And a cut and a miss. That's going to end it. So after the opening walk, Fairbanks strikes out the side, and the Rays win this one. It's a 1-0 ball game. We'll be back with the totals in a moment.